that some of you may already know about or are following or just learning about, because every single one of us has a cell phone on us right now. We've been on the phone with everyone we know in Midland and Odessa, Texas right now to find out how they're doing, to make sure that they're okay, to see if they are alive. Just reached out to a really good friend, Stuart, who lives in Lubbock, which in Texas terms is pretty close to Midland, Odessa. Turns out he's at a conference in Midland in his hotel, which is locked down right now. Reached out to John, who's a city council member in Midland, Texas, and asked him, what can you tell me about this shooting that we are learning about as the notices pop up on our Twitter feed? And what he was describing was not unlike what we were seeing in the aftermath of the shooting in El Paso, Texas on August 3rd. Not sure how many gunmen, not sure how many people have been shot, don't know how many people have been killed, the condition of those who have survived, don't know what the motivation is, do not yet know the firearms that were used or how they acquired them. But we do know this is fucked up. We do know that this has to stop in this country. There is no reason that we have to accept this as our fortune, as our future, as our fate. And yet functionally, right now, we have. To have a Congress that will not even study gun violence, by law has prevented the Centers for Disease Control from knowing the facts, lest we be motivated and compelled to do something about them. Will not even pass universal background checks or close those loopholes that allow people to buy a firearm when they should not be able to. Dan, famously, going into a gun show, buying an AR-18 without a background check. We went to a gun show last week in Conway, Arkansas. I didn't know that it was the best idea in the world after we had just released a proposal that would mandate a buyback of every AR-15 and AK-47 in the country. But we showed up because we wanted to bring everyone into the conversation. And the first guy who comes up to me and says, look, I got to be honest with you. I'm here because 40,000 of our fellow Americans are going to lose their lives this year to gun violence unless we do something different. And I may presume that you and I do not come to the same conclusion on this, but tell me what your idea is. And he said, no, I think you're onto something. Though I sell guns at this show, I should not be able to do that. If you have a pulse and you're 18 years old in Arkansas, you can buy this gun. Really, no other questions asked. He said, I should not be able to do this. Another guy who owns an AR-15 says, I don't know that I'm willing to give this up, but I've got 3 kids in school, just like you have 3 kids in school, Beto, and they're scared to go to school every day, and I'm scared for them. Something's got to change. Someone else says, I voted for Donald Trump. I have an assault weapon, but I'm willing to give it up because this is not right. This is not an act of God. This is not some natural disaster. This is a human-caused problem with a human solution. And if you're willing, we can be the humans who are going to do something about this. You all ready? So let's show this country, let's show the NRA that those moms who demand action, those students who are marching for our lives, for everybody's lives in this country, that following their lead, ensuring that we are moved and motivated and compelled by their example, admitting to ourselves that the only time this country has ever made significant change is when it was forced to do so. Earlier this week, we were in Greensboro, North Carolina. 4 students from North Carolina A&T on February 1st of 1960 walk into the Woolworths, sit at the counter, attempt to be served. Because of the color of their skin, they are denied service. They come back the next day, and the following day, and the day after that, joined first by dozens, then by hundreds, and then across the country, thousands. By July 25th of that same year, 1960, they had compelled Woolworths to integrate that counter. And more importantly, they had compelled the conscience of this country. They had forced all of us into action. 3 years later, Birmingham, Alabama, kids as young as 12 years old, leaving their classrooms, just like those students today who marched for our lives, marching down the streets of downtown Birmingham, Alabama, against police officers with batons, fire hoses that peeled the bark off the